Established in April 2021, Upland Development United is an exclusive property development collaborative for the Upland Metaverse. If you're a bigger picture and loyal team player who has a great sense of humour and is looking to get more engaged in a diverse and experienced team, you can help us and we can help you. Contact Morecheese or Ben68 for more information. Warning, all opinions within are solely the views of the individuals involved.
The UDU Upland Development United installed their neighborhood nodes throughout the entirety of Upland. Their reach was unmatched.
Go. Aloha all to all of you from the UDU. Today is Tuesday, January 18th. This is UDU's meeting number 39. And now for the market update to you, Dub Rider. Sorry.
Thank you very much for the handoff, sir. Aloha to you. We've been having a little bit of a wibbly-wobbly one on the markets. There's not been as much movement this week. San Francisco is the only tier 1 city that's gone up, and it's gone up from 42.5k to pretty much 45, whereas all the others have gone down a little bit. Santa Clara is down from 32.5 to 29k. Manhattan's has also gone down, so I think this must be the first week in quite a while that we've not had a green one for Manhattan. It's come down from 211k to 205. Brooklyn's come down a tiny bit, about 10 UPX from 15.5 to 15.490. And Chicago's also come down just a little bit from 8,850 to 8,450. Now, crypto markets are green, but not by much. Bitcoin's come up from 41,795 to 41,918. Ethereum's come up a smidge from 3108 to 3171. Wax has come up a tiny smidge from 38 cents 22 to 38.31. And Engine's also come up a smidge from $2.201 to 2.257. So as far as Upland goes, I imagine there's a few weak hands out there trying to get the liquidity on the go for LA.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I'm surprised that it hasn't gone down further, to be honest. Like, it's only bumped down a little bit. Probably Santa Clara looks like it's taken the biggest hit. But, yeah, percentage-wise, it hasn't gone down much at all.
No, it's just a smidge, really.
Mm.
Yeah, it's not much.
Interesting. All righty. Yeah, Corey, you were hot then, mate. I had to mute you. I don't know if you can unmute yourself. So, there we go.
How's that, better?
Yeah.
Sorry.
All good. All right, over to you, Cheese. Spark train number 9 is rolling.
Spark train number 9 is rolling. We're moving pretty good. I didn't think we would. We always get these surprise donators last minute that come in. And I think you're full. I believe number 2 is pretty much almost full, and then we're on to number 3. We only have 10 people in this train. I figured we're just coming back from off of a break, so a lot of people are still gonna kind of drip in every so often, but who knows, maybe we'll evolve into something else. I was noticing that a lot of the new people in the train, you know, have no choice but to go to further out nodes wherever they are. And I was thinking maybe we could talk later about doing a sort of node manager trains, or we could toy around with it and see what happens.
Absolutely. Yeah, we've always said it's an evolving process. So, you know, we'll throw ideas out there, see what sticks. Yeah, no manager trains. We kind of floated that a little bit, but we didn't really dig into it too deep. So, yeah, something we can check out for sure. All right, we're going to bring Uplando on because he's got some stuff to talk about before he bounces. He's going to give us an update on what's happening with Block Explorer shops. Metaventures. You there, Uplando?
Yeah, sorry about that. Thank you so much. Yes, Metaventures, what was otherwise known as a beta business, is now launched. We have what is otherwise now is the beta Block Explorer, Metaventures Block Explorer shops. There are 5 in San Francisco. There are 4 in Fresno, and we have all launched at the same time. Some things to note, we are definitely in closed beta, as it has been mentioned to us now. And the channel in which we all converse with and report back to the things that we're seeing, it's very lengthy, detailed, and we're slowly, I feel, going to have some changes made to the system and how other Metaventures business owners in the future will operate their shops. It has been extremely gratifying, but also very challenging to do so, to offer up these block explorers. And it's evolving in an ever evolving process to try and coordinate with players and get the best return for them. And our model of what we have done with this Block Explorer store has been to consign. So not wanting to dip into the well of our own stock of Block Explorers to offer those up, we have offered a path of consignment through the shop. And I think that's been incredibly successful. And as far as I know, we've seen record-setting Block Explorer sales for one of one. A lot of players are putting up their director requested Block Explorer. We've seen some incredible one of ones go up for sale and actually been purchased for speculation. The big thing, the win here, is the utility on the Block Explorers. And Idan has said now that Block Explorers will be what you use to drive Meta Motors vehicles, and you will be able to license or otherwise have a utility on these Block Explorers that will otherwise be track racing, off-road racing, drag racing, other. And so it'll be interesting to see how that plays a part in all of this, but it is a successful launch. We are working as diligently and as hard as we can to have the experience be best for everybody. But that's pretty much it. The only other part of that is what we do, of course, with the Upland Cafe and having the Australian and New Zealanders on in the once a week, I believe it is Wednesday in the evenings. And we've got some really special guests this week. So definitely want to tune in for that. But thank you guys.
Yeah, and there's been several well-known people whining and complaining that the Block Explorer shops, it's a big monopoly, this and that, it's an unfair advantage, they're going to make millions. They're not really taking into account all of the drama and crap that you guys are going through. Like, I'm in that channel as well, and yeah, I think you're being very reserved in your response there. That it appears like some of the better business, or some of the Block Explorer shop owners, are almost running at a loss because of the restrictions on the mechanics as far as legits burners. Can you speak to that briefly? Give us a heads up on that.
So the current mechanic that is in, or that we have in the shops, if someone were to want to consign, which is our primary business model, and again, those players taking the lion's share of what that consignment is. So in some cases, you're talking a big split there. The player cannot simply go to the store and offer up the Block Explorer for consignment. We have to trade a Spirit NFT legit, an Ornaments legit, or a NFLPA legit to then offer as trade to bring it in under the ownership of the Block Explorer store owner to thus list it in the shop. That has caused quite a bit of an arduous task that otherwise should just be completely not a part of how you do this as a shop. I don't go to a shop, a baseball card shop, a card shop, or otherwise like Magic the Gathering or something, and have to trade first to just get the stock in my hand. It's bizarre. I can't offer to purchase a Block Explorer straight with UPX. There is not that system in place. So it's all about a trade first. This has created quite a problem with the non-delivery of the legits. If I purchase, say, 10 or 20 packs and I only got one on the last drop and said, whoops, we kind of messed up, you're only getting one pack this time, then there goes all my legit burners. So that is it is really difficult, let's say, at this time. Now we are in beta, so that's what we're here to do. But yes, I've kind of been biting holes in my tongue and I've been very gracious with the team, but we definitely have to have some answers more quickly, because customer service is a frontward facing and expected part of Metaventures. So as decor comes in, Ben, I have absolutely, I don't know how you're going to do it. I really don't know what is going to become of you creating original content, which we cannot do. We cannot create original content block explorers. We have to buy retail and resell them. It's a real challenge. And to anybody that thinks we're monopolizing on it, yes, I know a few business owners right now that are working in a deficit. As hard as that is to believe, they are operating in a deficit.
And they've completely burnt out of their own supply of legits, and they can't take on new customers.
We have no way to take on any new consigned block explorers. We have no way to purchase anything. We do not have wholesale. We cannot purchase these from Upland directly. We are in competition with the players at that level. That's where we are with Metaventures block explorer stores.
And like the system, you know, it is what it is. It will be what it will be. But it's, to be completely honest, this is not what you signed up for. I'm fully expecting something similar for outdoor decor. I think that's going to be completely rejigged. And like when I spoke to you in the cafe, as far as that 2-year thing, and I said, you know, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't happen, you know, it's no real skin off my nose. And I think from what I've seen in the Block Explorer shop stuff, it just kind of reinforces that. I'm sure something will come of it, but what that will be and how it will pan out, yeah, I've no idea at this stage.
It's a year in the making. The application process started over a year ago. We are just now opening the stores. We opened them last week. We went through the entire weekend, let's say, with little to no support from the internal side on anything that had went on. It was a 3-day holiday. So we're just now getting to all that lined up. I will say this, I am extremely honored to have this opportunity. It is not what I had signed up for, but we are trying to make the best go of it that we possibly can. And we have basically been trying to create the marketplace. We did not have any time to really kind of look at what it would otherwise be to stock the store and to look at what other prices were going to be like. So we're working with this dynamically. So we're doing the best we can. I do think that the utility of these block explorers is the thing that's going to really save it. And it would be nice, if you're listening, Upland, to be able to use our Series 1 NFTs that we have so arduously went through and transferred over through the portal, to be able to use those in trade for others to bring in block explorers to the store. But again, if you have any questions, just direct message me. I'll try to do the best I can. Yeah, thank you.
Cheers, mate.
Hey,
go for it, sorry.
Do you know if it's also a possibility a bit later on that you can, let's say, specialize into something that the other block explorers won't, so that there is a difference in terms of block explorer stores, or is that already way too early for that?
I think what you're going to find is that out of the gate, what occurred was the pricing differentiation was astronomical. You had pricing that was up into the 26 million, 70 million for a block explorer. You also had the entry-level block explorer, which of course heart emoji, that was free, that was around 100,000 UPIX. The floor is moving down. Because of the sales and the way they've gone, there have been some extreme pricing to win at all costs pricing, which is causing quite the ripple. I think that what will be is this is the slow and steady is going to win the race. In terms of specialization, it's really kind of everybody finding their footing right now. And I do think there is going to be some specialization. It's really that utility. If in fact there is this utility of said driving block explorers that can drive Metamotors vehicles, that will start to push the stability a little bit. But there's the speculation at this point and people that have just missed out on things. So we try to fill holes as fast as we can. But Bakio, I think really what this is going to boil down to is who you have established your relationship with, what they have in stock of block explorers, and giving them the best rate of return is what it is. You can always list something. It's not what it's worth, it's what it sells for. That's the key. So
yeah, but also long term. I mean that, yeah, thanks, by the way. Yeah, I also mean long term. So for instance, how cool would it be if you are the only Block Explorer store that, for instance, I don't know, right? Let's say have a raffle. So people can enter a raffle, they pay a certain amount of UPEX, and then they can win a custom Block Explorer. A service like that. So that, or that you only have one type of person exclusive for your Block Explorer, so who can create this type of Block Explorer, something like that. Or when cars come out, I don't know, a Block Explorer that can repair your car when it's broken because of a race or something like that. So that you have a certain amount of exclusivity to your Block Explorer store. So then people would say, hey, I'm going to Uplando's instead of the other ones. Did they talk about that in the beta business, or?
They have. And being first isn't always the best, because we are in a box. We cannot create original content. We do not have a means of wholesale as you would any other business. We have to buy at retail. We have a very clunky system to bring Block Explorers from players into the system, into the store. And at this time, the only incentivizations that we offer right now is our customer service is number one. So working with the goldsmith to provide the best possible exchange or consignment method that we know how. We've been really successful with doing so. And then GFG, if you haven't seen it from the 12 Days of Cafe Christmas, we offer one of one, which are called Shimmer Gold Block Explorers. If you haven't seen them, they're absolutely magnificent. So those are the only incentivizations that we can do. We are putting in different projects that are coming up that will be announced so that we can incentivize and have a reward system. But at this time, most Block Explorer stores are struggling to find where their profit is. And I know that it sounds bizarre because you see some of these prices, but again, a large percentage, sometimes 70+% of the sale goes back to the actual original Block Explorer holder. And that's our model. So we're picking at the bone.
And there's also a case where you've been undermined with the Metaventures channel is just loaded up with people selling advertising to sell their Block Explorers, OTC and that sort of thing.
Yeah, so I'll end on that and turn it back over to you all. Really what this boils down to is buy, sell, trade, shill assets. And the Metaventures we've now weeded that out. But the OTC for USD and crypto for these, they don't have to pay dues. They don't have to pay the percentage to actually go through and conduct the tax that is otherwise charged to these store owners. And then you've got everything else. It is really in the face of competition with itself, right? It's a conflict of interest. When you have in Discord channel that is Upland official, that allows players to sell their Block Explorers for crypto or USD, all that it takes is $1 legits to make that transaction. There is no 5%. The trade is free. So we are working in a massive deficit. And if that's not addressed, then it will undermine the entirety of all Metaventures, not just Block Explorers. We can't create original content. So Decor and other original creators have a means a little bit better than us, but this is going to be a real struggle for us. And I'll update you guys next UDU on this to show you where we're at.
Yeah, I think there might be a tweak coming in regards to original content for Decor as well. I've just got a little feeling that something's brewing there, but we shall see.
Best of luck.
All right. We did have this down as Bronx node open in the server, but so we'll see what Cheese wants to do. Over to you, Cheese.
Hello. So I have been working on a Bronx node. Everybody has been very paramount and amazing in keeping it a secret. I've been getting a lot of help from Steve in regards to percentages and ownership and yada yada. Made some deals with a lot of people and the numbers are in. I have over 84%. And I'm ready to come forward and say that, Bronxdale in the Bronx is the UDU Bronx node. And as I said, it's 84% ownership of UDU. And I would also like to give a big shout out to the UCC, who has been freaking awesome in helping me with the FSA. So I'm going to let Dak talk more on it, but it was a new contract kind of thing that I was the first one to do, and I hope more will follow suit because it's an amazing idea Dak came to me with, and I'm really, you know, it feels good to be the first one to do this with him, and I feel like it has led me to the percentage I have, which is amazing. And if he wants to, like, you know, talk about it right now a little bit, feel free to jump in.
Oh, you know me, I'll always talk. No, and Morecheese, you know, it was funny. We were playing a poker game at UCC, and we started talking around, and MetaMax is like, you know, we have these agents, we could do these kinds of things. You know, what we did in Citadel, we want to do it for other people. And we started talking, and so I went to a couple of people that are known for node development. Morecheese was one, and Morecheese was the first one to kind of get the concept of what we were trying to do.
After 3 hours.
It wasn't an easy thing to explain. And I still get the question of, well, why would I want to pay this when I could just, you know, do it myself? And I'm like, well, and then, you know, this was all like a day and a half before the Bronx released. And so we kind of all did it just, you know, good intentions over Discord, and we went for it. And our FSA agents were able to lock up 22 properties in Bronxdale, which, as you guys remember, Bronx sold out so fast. And
Yeah.
I just remember talking to Morecheese that day, and she was so mad.
I was angry. It was like 3 minutes, like literally 3 minutes. It was gone. Please.
And I'm like, I know we got 4. I think we got 6. I think we're up to 12. And so like, it was
more.
And as the FSA agents were coming in with their purchases and what they got and everything, and by the end, we had picked up 22 properties. It was a good feeling. It was good to be able to help. And we've been wanting to talk about it for like a month now. But Morecheese is like, not yet, not yet.
And you guys are really great about that. Thank you. Because it did take a little bit. There's still, you know, somebody there, multi-counter, that, you know, won't let go of his properties very easily. And, you know, I mean, it's not going to be anything for over a year, you know, it's a brand new thing. Nothing's going to like, and it's in the Bronx. So it's like, we're all focusing on our tier 1 places first. And if he wants to hold something that long, then, you know, so be it.
Well, thank you, Morecheese, for doing it with us. We learned a lot through that. And so we're getting better and better at locking this up and putting the parameters around it and everything. And so the next one is going to be a lot cleaner for those that are listening. And so, yeah, it's good stuff. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for coming to me.
I think we need some champagne sound effects or something. That was a bit under-celebrated. That was an awesome achievement. You know, the deal with the UCC, yeah, I know everybody's been bursting to get that information out there, and we've kind of hinted at it over several team meetings and places we've been talking that it's going to revolutionize how nodes are secured in the future. And, you know, Cheese was the first one to go out there and test it. You know, it wasn't perfect. It wasn't pretty. But, yeah, you can't argue with the numbers. Almost 85% in a city that sold out pretty much in 5 minutes. And especially that neighborhood in particular, like I think Bok just mentioned, it was the neighborhood that was right beside a stress test neighborhood. So there was already a bunch of block explorers in the area. So, yeah, awesome stuff all around. And I'm assuming you guys will get together and put something more official out there, which will be really awesome to hear.
Indeed.
Alrighty. Moving on to my wine of the week. My spark now is pretty much completely broken. I can't do anything as far as stacking onto new builds. I can't manage my own spark on builds that are already in progress. I can't stack onto anybody else's buildings. And now I've had 2 buildings finish, but they don't inaugurate. So I don't know what the hell's going on, but the only way that I can do anything with Spark is I have to turn my laptop on, and then I can take my Spark off other people's properties on my own. I can still start buildings, but I can't do anything in the app or in the mobile browser. Anything to do with Spark, it just glitches the game out and breaks it, which is a worry. I've asked around, and there doesn't seem to be many other people in the same situation, although somebody else did mention that their buildings aren't inaugurating, which is a bit of a worry. I'm hoping that's not completely glitched. Bok, it's not only on mobile, the inauguration. I did check last night. I turned my computer on and clicked on the buildings, and they just sit there. If you press the manage button, it just does nothing. And if you go to press the sell button, it says you can't sell this property because it's still under construction. Well, it's not, because it's finished. So in classic Upland style, they said contact support, which I'd already done because we know it takes weeks and weeks to get back to you. My last 2 interactions with Upland support have been extremely unprofessional, and I've said that to them straight up. Like, the way they respond is extremely dismissive, lacking in any sort of details, and to be frank, it's quite rude. So I don't know, it's a bit of a worry, especially the building's not inaugurating. That's my biggest concern. Anybody else seen anything like that? No dramas? I think everybody else is mostly PC based, aren't you?
It's weird that it varies across players, because normally you would expect that when there is an issue, everybody is having problems with it. Then well, maybe they would say it's an Aussie thing, right? It's only in Australia, something like that. It doesn't make sense.
Oh, they've done that before. They say, oh, it's your local internet connection. No, mate. Yeah. So, yay me, yay. Don't know. We shall see.
It's really crappy news, that. I mean, obviously not only for yourself, but for anyone else that's contributing Spark to those builds, until you can actually finish that construction, everyone's Spark is still locked up as well, isn't it?
No, we get the Spark back. So
you
get the notification, like within the bot, the player made bots that says your building's finished, blah blah blah, and you check your Spark is returned, but the building's just sitting there as a ghost shell. So
that's even weirder then.
My concern is that there's some kind of glitch, and blockchain always makes these things a bit iffy. Like, am I going to, because, my contract with the UCC has stepped up into another gear. At present, we're running 8 builds at once on the list. So that's full speed ahead. Am I spending all these millions of UPEX, and I'm going to have all these empty shell buildings that aren't inaugurated and can't be inaugurated? That's my concern, but we shall see how it plays out.
Pretty heavy, man.
Mm.
But also not a massive surprise, eh?
No. Yeah, like I said, my interactions with anything bug related or support related, hasn't been very good.
Can I have a bit of a wine of the week?
Hang on, Dak's got a question here. So your props aren't coming online that we did in MTU. Dak, they're being built. They're saying they're completed, but when I go to press inaugurate, there's just nothing. It just sits there, doesn't do anything. Sorry, Bok, what were you saying?
Yeah, I also actually had a wine of the week. It just came up in my head, but yeah, go first.
No, you're right. Go for it. Over to you.
I mean, that's, I think Upland is doing very great at this moment. We should also say that. There are a lot of different utilities. The block explorer stop is very cool. Yeah, there will always be some little problems, but I hope they can solve that soon. But one thing that really frustrates me is that the follow-up on things. I mean, there are certain previous events or previous things that were happening that we did not receive an update. Like 3 small examples of that. First thing, the Hyperloop challenge. That one was in September. And they said, yeah, there will be 100 players submitting something, and then they will be beta testers. I don't even think they had 100 participants. So my assumption is that they just tried to not come back to it a long time or not at all. But, you know, just be honest, just be fair. Also, in terms of Santa Clara, they said in an announcement, hey, you know, there's something big coming to Santa Clara. We're still waiting for it. Pittsburgh should come up with the Hyperloop. Never heard about that one again. You know, and also like with those properties not showing up, which you have no announcement about that. So Upland should really step up a bit, I think, in 2022.
Yeah, we've said that before, haven't we? Where it's you know, you got to fix what you've already done before you go introducing new bugs. And that's a good segue into the win of the week and the meme contest that Awesomeness ran. And I won that one, and that was exactly my meme. It was the classic one with the guy sweating over the buttons, you know, fix old bugs or create more bugs. Don't know. So, yeah. Bok, did you want to speak to that? You were pretty involved in that, weren't you, helping him set that up?
I think all credit should go to Awesomeness. I don't know if he's there, actually. Is he around?
I don't know. Let's have a look. So, yeah, that was just an internal meme contest thing. No, it doesn't look like it.
Oh.
That was pretty fun. I did just say to stack my my prize onto the next one, and that was cool. You kind of had a bit of an English lesson in there, Bok. The difference between stake and stack. That was fun to see. And the last thing was, maybe you can speak to this again, Bok, because it's all about you and Brabants on too. I see Spark Gains. We've had another very successful Spark Week.
Yeah, I still look like a hobo after that Spark Week because I was setting alarms at midnight, like for every day. So I think I got like 1 hour or 2 hours sleep for 4 days or something like that. So that's, yeah, after each day. Yeah, it was ridiculous. And what struck me was that each time the competition gets worse. We thought previous times, Brabant and me, like, no, it's not getting worse, but people are really stepping up their treasure hunting games. And also the Upland Content YouTube channel, they shared a secret treasure hunting tip, which I think might also have something to do with the increased competition. But that's good. It's cool to see that they are really, you know, helping a lot of players out there. But it was a fun event. It was difficult, but it was fun. And Brabant was always better than me. He was always, you know, out of cooldown. He always got that chest, so that was fun, but also frustrating. So
I gotta tell you, Bok, every time I missed a treasure, which was every time, I would take turns saying frickin' Bok or frickin' Brabant. you were the expletive word for that because you're so good at it.
It'll be great to see if LA actually diverts some of the players. If it kind of like takes it away from some of the other ones. That would be really good because it's going to be the first tier 1 city that's gonna join the fray. And I think, to be honest, all 3 tier 1 cities were struggling. They were not enjoying themselves. I think every Spark Week, I think more people realize you know, the opportunity, and I think, yeah, a new tier 1 city will be very much appreciated to kind of divert some of the players and give them a new opportunity as well, because I think the competitive levels that has now been reached is pretty insane. You need to either be extremely lucky or you need to be really good in those tier 1 cities.
And Upland should also, in that aspect, I think, step up their game because it's quite an unfair thing. I mean, I'm not complaining, but it's quite unfair because you create a difference in terms of players, in terms of Spark, and they could easily make it more attractive to a bigger audience. For instance, what they could do is increase the standard Spark chest. So normally you find a Spark chest during your own hunts where you have 5 minutes, double that amount. So then people are still a bit more, you know, into the Spark hunts, or create tiers. So now you have a chest which could be 0.08 in a tier 1 city, or 0.16 or 0.30. but they could have perhaps 3 types of competitions with lower rewards. So then people who are, good at hunting, but not at the top 10 or top 20, they can engage in the, let's say, a second competition of Spark. And when you are a beginner, you can enter the 3rd competition of Spark. So then, everybody can win decent Spark during that event.
I think that's a good idea, but I think they should also give a 3-hour cooldown for those who have found like the Spark thing. Like they shouldn't be able to get it over and over and over, like, because it's not a regular cooldown like the limited, right? Or the exclusive, right? Or
it
is
is.
it?
It is. So it's
it
the same
is.
thing. Yeah. So it doesn't matter if you get a limited, an exclusive, or a Spark. Every time it's 3-hour cooldown.
Really? All right.
Yeah. And even if you, for example, get like extremely lucky, for example, you find one while you're in cooldown, it will regenerate the 3 hours again. So basically every time you find a competitive chest, you will be put on a 3-hour cooldown.
All right.
I wish, honest to God, if that wasn't the case, then it would, Bokyo and me would not be sleeping. We would be going crazy.
Well,
we already are.
Back in the old days when treasure hunts first came online, there was no cooldown. So we'd see, forget what his name is, Hodler, I think his name was. He would just get exclusive every single one, like all day, one after the other, after the other, after the other. I think what this Spark kind of week is doing is kind of having a secondary effect where it is stimulating in the economy. I know, Bok, you've gone in and bought up extra properties to fill out your map. And clearly, obviously you're buying them from the secondary market. So that's kind of having a nice little effect there.
Yeah, it is tough to because it is such a good opportunity, and especially because it comes back every month. That was I was a bit afraid of, but it seems to be a monthly thing. Yeah, then it's worth spending up, but I spent too much. I have to increase it to get ready for LA.
Yes. Alrighty. I don't know are you still there, Coy? You around? No.
I'm here.
Right.
Here we go.
Can you give us an update on how the expectations of membership documents are going down?
All right, so it's going really well. We kind of hit a little bit of a snag on what maybe needs to be on the document. A lot of stuff is focused, and there seems to be a lot of interest in defining the Spark train, what the rules are, which are very. Morecheese actually recently created a document that is not a new document, but reposted it that she had created previously that really outlines what the rules are of the Spark train. However, I continue to kind of see that in the expectations of membership requests. So I guess the conversation needs to occur separately, because that's not really an expectation of membership if the requirement to be on a Spark train is not an expectation of membership. So
yeah, and it's not. Right? And I think part of the confusion has come in where we need to update the rules in the server. I think there's some, if you go to the, what is it, Cheese, the bot, you put the rules together with the bot or something like that. Because I know I had a look, I can't just go in and edit it. It still has a very old system where you got to agree to, stake 0.25 Spark or something, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, basically with the Spark train, the expectation is there is no expectation.
Right, so, exactly. And to be honest, there is nothing really new. There's a couple of things that need to be discussed offline out of this venue for possible inclusion. But in general, everybody's kind of reiterates what is already in our documents section on our Discord channel, which outlines everything that's already being said. And I won't hash it out here, but it seems like, not that it was all for naught, because there are a couple good suggestions for inclusion, but most, like I said, like I mentioned in the last meeting, most everything is, everybody kind of agrees with everything, number of properties, behavior, it all boils down to kind of just wanting people to take part in the community that you've created and that has become the family of UDU.
I think it needs to evolve in a way that I think people want their certain nodes. They're going to go no matter what kind of like order there is. So instead of having one train, I feel like each node manager should kind of be responsible for their own node and create their own node train. And even if you are like, let's say I'm in the cheese node, I'll have my cheese train or Bronx node. But at the same time, if I want to go to finish my places in MTU, I could do that while I run my Bronx node sort of thing. I think we can work something out to evolve it in a way that everybody is on the same page. But keep the percentages. I think 80% if you're on a train is reasonable and whatnot.
Yep, for sure. And I think there's definitely value in still putting a one pager out as far as the expectations of membership, as far as the document goes, because we've probably got all the information there, but it's here, there, and everywhere. It's in this one, it's in that one. So having something in one place that's fairly well laid out, I think there's still a lot of value there. Alrighty, over to LA bound. We touched on this a little bit last week, and everyone's gearing up for it. We've seen the markets come down as people scramble for liquidity. Seems to be a lot of people in the UDU team that are flush with liquidity and raring to go. So not me. Yeah, cheese is pulling a face. Yeah. What's the plan? Without saying the plan, we can't speak to the plan, but what's the general plan? Any ideas? I know Human put a very good set of research together, which was awesome.
I'm hoping for a miracle. I have some things for sale. I hate putting stuff for sale. With my Bronx node, I have so many expenses. But yeah, I'm just hoping some things sell. And because at the moment, I think I only have like $250 for it, which I never thought I would ever say is not enough for a game.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think everyone's going to be shocked at the prices in LA as well.
Yeah.
They have been stepping things up, you only got to look at Nashville, and then the Bronx I think that was a bit more expensive than people were thinking. So we're going to go to a full-on, this might even be a 111 tier 1 city. It's 200K not going to last long. I've got a bit over $1 million, but that's going to disappear really fast. So I don't know.
I'll buy one property. Hopefully it'll be a UR like in NOLA.
Nice.
I'd be like, damn it all, just buy this one property. And get out of there.
Everybody else is pretty quiet. Must have some secret plans going on. What's going on, people? Crickets for days.
Well, I'm from LA, so I want to buy everything. I live in downtown, and downtown's always a super hot spot in any of these releases, so it's going to be tough. But that's me. That's my
LA hat.
Yeah, I got my Dodgers hat on, represent. For sure.
Joe's like a surfer dude. This is the first impression I got when I saw you, Joe. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. And what do you think as far as the speed that it's going to sell out? Is this going to be next level again?
Go ahead. No.
I was going to say, I think it all depends on the prices. Like you said, everything's been going up like crazy. And LA could be super expensive, So I think that's really going to be the determining factor,
Yes. Yeah, it's going to be fun, put it that way. I'm just hoping we have a really smooth release without any, major stress test drama or anything like that.
I'm kind of hoping for a fast sellout, like maybe a week. I think if we have a fast sellout, it'll go to international. I'm thinking this is a kind of test to see how fast we sell out on a tier 1, bigger, more expensive city. And if they see good results, then they're going to be like, all right, we're ready. If not, then a few more months.
Yeah. And people have speculated that it's probably 2 weeks away, but we haven't seen anything as far as like the advertising campaign in real life yet come out. So, you know, like previously there was the subway campaign, there was the big billboards. Nothing like that's come to light yet, has it?
Well, you know what they said to me one day in a meeting, Mort said when we were doing the Upland Cafe AMA with Idan. He said, I asked what was in store for January, and Idan told Uplando, oh, we can't say, we're not going to say. And then I say, well, that's kind of crazy that you can't let us know what's going to happen in January. Mort's like, well, you guys are the one that keeps saying, you know, we don't come up with, we don't follow through with our promises. So he said, under promise and then overproduce or something like that.
Over deliver, yeah.
And I was just so, I didn't like that response. It was very unprofessional.
Yeah. People still think it's the end of the month, so we'll see. It shall be interesting. It's interesting that there's nobody's real keen to talk about it, which is kind of a bit telling.
Well, I just said my reason why, but whatever.
Yeah, I'm talking about how many other people are we going to need? Like 15 people. Come on, people. You're not excited about LA? Joe's in.
I'm really excited if people can, that's my treasure hunting instinct. If people can create a map there, that will be interesting to see how fast it will be minted out and if it's still possible to create a good map, because otherwise the old players who has a map can have a big advantage there.
Yeah, I think the days of minting a map, that might be behind us. It's going to all have to be on the secondary because it just sells out so fast.
Crazy. That would be crazy if that would be the case. Would be good news for some of us, but definitely for the new players, it would be quite a blow. I think now with the tier city, I really hope they're gonna really dump a shit ton of, a lot of properties, because the amount of or the lack of properties, and I think with all of these new players coming in, I sometimes really feel bad for them. I mean, I came in when I got like release after release, and I had so much opportunity to mint. And I do feel now that if you're coming in and the first opportunity you get, like to experience Upland, and you basically have like, okay, I've got this much cash and I actually can't, or I cannot actually buy one property unless I put money in. So it'd be great to kind of like, if there was a bit more supply to meet the demand, to not have everyone scramble. I mean, it's brilliant for the second market, of course, the low supply, but I think for new players and for the, for the growth of Upland, I think it would be really wise to up the supply for a while.
Yeah, there's also an aspect of there's FOMO here where, like, I was in the early days of San Francisco, and I went heavy a couple of times in that outer Richmond or whatever it is, inner Richmond area, where you could mint properties for, under 3K. Up to 3.5K I was minting for. And the lessons that I learned there kind of encouraged me to go deeper in Manhattan than I probably would have. So I spent a bunch more in Manhattan buying up the 4 to 6K floor there. And the lessons I learned from there told me that when Chicago came on board, that's where I went crazy in Chicago. And from the moment Chicago released, like I was minting properties in the 2K range all the way up to 2K to 5K. So what's a floor in Chicago now? Like almost 9K, something like that. So there's a lot of people who kind of missed out on Chicago. They thought, oh yeah, I'll get to that eventually, but then it kind of all sold out. So I think there's going to be a lot of people in the same sort of situation where now that anytime a new tier 1 comes on board, the floor's just going to get destroyed, like the minting floor. Everyone's just going to be scrambling to gobble up as much as they can. Because we know there's only one way the floors go, and that's up. So even you look back at Bakersfield and that, it's the floors, they're all up. Like we talk about the markets at the start of every meeting and we say, oh, it's gone down on a you know, Santa Clara's gone down. It's only 29K. Well, I was buying up the secondary floor there when they were 17K. So I'm still mad in profit. So, yeah, and Box said Cleveland's still very undervalued. So, yeah, tier one. Oh, boy. I think it's going to be very surprising, actually, all around. So we shall see. Cheese, are you there for the wine and cheese update?
We talked to D-Tech, the amazing Arthur. He was extremely interesting and awesome, crazy, weird guy. Yeah.
And we also we put a thing out in the MVE server where I started talking about, you know, I don't know. Is anybody aware of another metaverse NFT show where you can get a free NFT every week just by watching and participating? I don't know any that can, especially nothing to the quality of the art that Morecheese puts out. And we did put a call out there where I started hinting at, you may want to see how many you've got and try and fill in the gaps if you're missing any. And who was it that posted that screenshot, Cheese? Was it Moon somebody?
Moon Unit.
Moon Unit, yeah.
Yeah, he's pretty regular.
Yeah, and he was only missing 2, so I think he might be the standout. We're not quite sure what we want to do for the end of season 1 for people that have collected all of them, but yeah, it'll be something cool for sure. We'll work out something. So yeah, and it's, like I said, they're free. It's pretty easy to get. Dak, are you still around?
I am.
Hey. Yeah, apparently you've got something sorted out to celebrate the completion of UCC Stage 1 contract with Midtown Terrace.
We did, and we thought it was important that we do a little something. Sybaris at UCC has started to develop kind of a template for milestone NFTs through UCC. So we had kind of the milestone NFT that we did during the 12 days of Cafe Christmas. We had a milestone NFT for our 100th build. And we thought it only appropriate to have a milestone NFT for the first ever node contract with MTU and Ben. And so, Ben, we sent you, they're up. Thank you. Yep, there it is. So this is one of, this is the NFT, and that's the San Francisco city skyline in the background. And there's MTU's properties that were completed. And you'll notice this is a 1 of 2. So we wanted to, make sure that Ben got a nice little NFT commemorating his belief in the UCC. It seems that we do a lot of firsts with UDU. Ben was the first to say, you know what, we can do something with UCC to do node development. And he vetted us before jumping in. And after he vetted us and we talked about it, you know, we were able to start growing. And now node development, community development is one of our primary offerings. So much so that we expanded it into what Morecheese was able to take advantage of with our FSA agency. And that's just one part of all of the node management that we're doing and supporting. So that little engagement, you know, now, you know, what I say little in a little facetious kind of tone, because it was the biggest of its kind at the time, right? And it continues to grow as we go into stage 2 now. But we were able to do it in 1/3 of the time we planned. We were able to deliver it much quicker than we anticipated. And Ben, we really wanted to say thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you guys. It's a fantastic NFT. Can you give a shout out to who put it together for you?
Sybaris, Ciberus.
Cool. No, it's very nice.
Yep. Yeah, and he does these now for UCC builds. So he does all of our milestone builds, and we we told them that if people wanted to get a commemorative NFT of the builds that they did with UCC, they can engage him and he can do for their build.
Yeah, it's got a very cool, like 3D hologrammy sort of feature to it. It's very nice.
Exactly.
So that was for stage one. Now we have, we pretty much just rocketed straight into stage two. And as I said previously, like that's really stepped up a gear. I've been talking to Mass and Nova and said, hang on a minute, you guys now are building so much faster than what I can pay for it. So what's happening there? What's the deal with the big ramp up?
Well, the overall UCC has just exploded. I mean, we had 5x growth in Q4. Our active spark went from 62 in October to 261 yesterday. So we have over 261 spark active. And hold on a second, I need to mess with my headset before it dies.
You're right. Yeah, and the stats so far in MTU, it's currently we're at 29.8% built, but I don't believe that's updating. Like I have at least 2 buildings sitting there that haven't been inaugurated. I'm a bit concerned with this Spark Train too, because there's several MTU properties there, which is a bit of a worry. But yeah, we're still way out in front as far as the San Francisco stats go in percentage built. But there is a dark horse rising, and it's a neighborhood that's it's right to the south of Midtown Terrace. Like we share a border, and I believe it's run by a very OG player. Oh God, blanking on his name now. Sunstar, I believe. That's it. So that's Diamond Heights. So if you have a look next time you're in the map, have a look just down to the south and check out some of the development that's going on there. Sorry, Dak, do you want to finish up?
Oh, yeah, no. And so, our ASP, Advanced Stakers program, really took off. We limit it to only 60 players, but they all have more than one spark. We also now started something called Prime Builders, which is a staff position with UCC. So there's some benefits to that, but they commit 10 spark to a build. So they knock out small townhouses in 4 days. And we have 2 of them now.
Nice.
So every 4 days, we're knocking out 2 small townhouses just with those 2 guys.
That's incredible. Yeah. And yeah, like I said, the speed has noticeably increased, it's a great problem to have, but now I've got to scramble. How am I going to pay for this thing? But they have both said, oh, don't worry, we'll sort that out. We know you're good for it. So, it's been quite funny actually. But yes. And yeah, thanks for jumping in today as our special guest in the team meeting. Normally we don't let outsiders like you're in, but I guess like you kind of suggested, we do have a pretty special relationship between the UDU and the UCC, and I can't wait for you and Cheese to get together somewhere and outline the specifics in more detail. That's going to be really cool.
Yeah, and just to kind of give you guys a little taste of what's going to be talked about later today, 2022, we're really focused on the idea of building out nodes and kind of helping support node development and neighborhood development. And so one of the things that we're doing is kind of creating a division called UCC Financial. And part of that is acquiring Metafran Holdings and having Metafran Holdings fold into UCC. And there's going to be even more announcements about other financial institutions folding into UCC Financial. So UCC Financial is going to be a major player in Upland financing going forward.
Very cool. We look forward to that as well. Does anybody else have some questions for Dak while he's on? Rare opportunity. No? Come on, we got a few node managers in here. No? All right. Yeah.
Happy to take questions offline too.
Cool. We'll look forward to it. Joe, are you still around?
Yes.
So yourself, Dub and Cheese and I, we got together earlier in the week to kind of brainstorm our META short video concept. Do you want to give us a bit of a rundown or give the team a rundown on what that's all about and where we're at, please?
Yeah, so we're creating a video to help everyone understand what the UDU is and what it's all about. Meta, we've transformed into masterly, exclusive teamwork and action. And we've kind of gone over some of the stuff in the video here. You got the first builds with the UCC, these big contracts, Node. We're just kind of going over the history and defining ourselves and kind of letting new players know how they can get involved and what we're all about. And it's coming together pretty nicely.
Absolutely. And Dubs, he's sent through the first little fancy voice teaser. You still there, Dub? You want to speak to that?
Yeah, I mean, not much to say really. But like Joe said, we met up the other day. We started hashing through our plans for the video series, and we got a working script for the first episode. So I've knocked that out. With as previously mentioned, we're inspired by the Fallout video series, so it's a little bit tongue in cheek. There's a little bit of humour in there, which suits our style, really, doesn't it? We're not. I mean, we're doing serious things, but not necessarily in a serious way. So. Yeah, I'm stoked to have got the first one kind of on the way. I'm looking forward to see what Cheese and Joe do with my fancy voice.
Nice. And Cheese is already fully on the way with the imagery for the first one. Did you want to speak to any of that, Cheese? Is she there?
I think it's a head shake.
No? All right. One last thing to wrap on is we've kind of touched on this a few different points through this meeting. I've put that down as married to the props. I've always been somebody who's kind of famously not married to my properties and was always throwing out, under mint sales, fire sales here, there and everywhere. But I sat down the other day, like I want to get liquid for LA. So I need to sell stuff. And I started looking through my list. I'm like, yeah, don't want to sell that one. Don't want to sell that one. Don't want to sell that one. And then I got to the end and I'm like, holy crap, I don't want to sell any of these. So what do I do? What is it? First metaverse problems. I've got all these properties. I need to get liquid. I don't know. Anybody else struggling with that at the moment? I know Cheese mentioned that she was kind of similar. What do we do? Dak says yes. Yeah. Just bite the bullet and list and see what happens. I don't know what to do.
It's also interesting to see if we can make some profit out of LA fast. And if you want to do that, because we also don't know when the next international city will come. That's something that I also try to bear in mind, because I definitely want to be liquid for that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's going to catch a lot of people with their pants way down. We've seen a city like LA comes online, and we've seen a little bit in the market, like the floor prices have gone down a little bit. But imagine once an international gets announced, it's going to be insane. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to do as well. I need to get a balance put away for the international. I need to get a balance put away if outdoor decor ever comes online. It's just a struggle. What do I sell? I don't know. I think I'm going to have to take another look and just, bite the bullet and off we go. Alrighty. Other than that, I think we've covered everything we meant to cover on, unless anybody else has something they want to chime in with. Nope. Alrighty. Thank you for that. Catch up with you later.